Hi everyone, welcome back. Jean here. Okay, so I was sitting here making some little bags that I need, some embellishment bags, whatever you want to call them, out of page protectors when I realized maybe I never showed you guys this. So I went to get the camera set up and I'm going to show you what I'm making. So I got another friend order for a couple of pens. And now I buy different bags all the time. Like I have these ones here because I like to put them in a little something when I give them. Problem with a lot of the bags, these aren't big enough when you're putting the big embellishments on your pens and stuff. So I have yet to find any that are, I got some that are even wider than this. But so I make my own, you know how I am. I just make my own. So I have page protectors. So this is one I have. And I am using my fuse tool, which I'll show you another way you can use these without the fuse tool. So I already have it on. So the pointy blade is what I use to cut. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to make a couple for these pens. I'll show you two different ways to do it. If you have the fuse tool, if you don't. Sorry about the glare. It's going to be that way for a few minutes. So what I like to do is, my bottom is already sealed, so I'm going to leave that sealed. So I'm going to work my way up. I like mine 7.5, and for this one, I want 2.5 inches wide for these pens. So we are going to measure, and I just take a pen or a pencil, whatever you have, laying around, it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to do a little mark at 7.5. You don't even have to put that big of a mark. And then another one at 7.5. I usually use my pencil, but I'm going to turn it this way because when I turn the whole thing this way, it'll be easier for you guys to see. Okay. So it comes with the metal ruler, which you want to use a metal ruler. Don't use a plastic. If you ever use this fuse tool, you know how hot it gets. All right. So I'm going to line up my marks. There's one. And there is the other one. Yep, right there. Okay. And then I'm just going to take this and just go right on down. And this will cut my page protector. I also use this. I get this size and then I just pull it off. I get this size page protector, the full 8.5 by 11, I think it is, for if I'm making an embellishment folder and stuff like that, because you can just make your own size pockets with this fuse tool. Okay, so now let's cut some at 2.5. 2.5 for this one. Now you can cut this. You can do the initial, you can just cut with your scissors if you want. But I have my fuse tool. So I'm going to use the tool to do it all. But you can, if you don't have a fuse tool, you can just go ahead, measure everything out, and then cut with your scissors. But the fuse tool goes quite quickly. It's very hot. It gets very, very hot. So you got to be very careful with it. And I should have showed you what I have down here. So I have just a piece of wood, balsam wood, I think it is, just because I don't want to accidentally cut into my cutting mat or table or whatever I'm using. And then this is the heat resistant mat that comes. I don't know if this one came with my fuse tool or if this is from something else, but whatever I have laying around. So it's like a silicone mat. Okay, let's just go ahead and we'll cut one more here because I'm going to show you. I have some cut because we're going to work on one while I got to change my tool out. And that'll be a few minutes to reheat again. So while we do that, we will work on one. Make sure I'm on my board good. You guys can see somewhat. And sometimes all right, let's put this aside and that scrap piece aside. All right, So now we got to change out my tool. And you get these little things because you do not want to touch. Now you can unplug it and wait for it to cool down and everything. But you know, Jean's a very impatient person. She don't have time for that business. So just make sure you get a hold of it. And sometimes getting it started, but it's coming out. Just don't make sure you got your little pads there. Come on. It is sticking in there. And let me grab whatever tools I have here. It's kind of sticking. All right, and now put that one off to the side. In there, I just have this little metal tin, of course, Hello Kitty tin, that I keep my little pieces in so that when I put a hot one in there, it won't melt anything. Now, let's see, my blade that I like to use for adhering together, there's all these different blades if you've never seen. Here, I can take those off now. I don't need those on. There's all different type blades or wheels or whatever you want to call them that you can use to adhere together. And I think I want to use one of these ones. I think I'm going to use this one today. Move that back off to the side. Do not touch this metal part ever. Okay, now it's going to take a few minutes to put together, or heat up, I mean. Now, so when you cut them, it fuses just a little bit, so you just want to pull that apart like that. So, oops, so this I'm going to pull all the way apart, because that was just a cutting line, so they're not going to adhere anyways. So if you do not have a fuse thing, you can use double-sided tape, which does show. You can see it there, but it'll work. Glue does not work at all, so don't use glue at all. But the double-sided tape will work. What I like to do, though, is I just grab any old washi tape. So I grab this one. And so what we're going to do is make sure there's nothing on here that I'm going to pick up. Let's put that down. And then I'm going to take a piece of my washi. And you're going to go just halfway with the washi tape. So I'll pick it up after I'm done. I'm going to try to position it. And you can kind of see through. I'm going to cut that end off. And I'm going to cut this end off. Just cut those off first. Okay, and now make sure that your page thing is down flat. And then we're just going to flip over. You can see that I only did it halfway to the washi. And then make sure it's even again. Then we're just going to take and flip over. Just like that. Just like that. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side. Try not to get my head in here, but I need to kind of see. That one's not over far enough. There we go. About halfway there. Snippy. And snip. You know me, guys. I like to, if I can make it, I'm going to make it. You know, I'm not going to buy things when I can make things. So, I mean, not everybody's like that, but my problem is I love crafting. I'm sorry, I just love crafting, and I would rather make things than buy things. And like I said, I do buy some bags. In fact, I'm trying to get a whole bunch of different bags for when I do decide to do the craft show. You'll see some of those coming up in Temu hauls and stuff like that. All right, so then we have that. So let's decorate this one. I brought out my brand new Doodlebug Butterfly Kisses. And I think I'm going to grab this cart right here. Oh, don't go voice. And I'm going to put that cart right about here. You can decorate both sides. I usually don't. Because, and then like I said, I don't have to do this step. These are friends and stuff. I can just give them the pens like this. But I like to go a little extra step and decorate them up a little. You know, just put them inside something. Just, you know, because sometimes they might not get over to my house right away. That way it'll stay protected. Let's put some butterflies flying up there. Let's see what we have. Let's put this orange one. We'll put a couple butterflies. Not going to stay. Well, this one I'm not folding over anything. So let's put that one there. And then we'll take this pink one here. Okay. And we'll take this pink one and put right there. Okay. Cute little bag. And then I'm going to put the orange one in because there's orange flowers in here. I don't know. I'm just doing it. Does it have to be the orange pen? No. And then for this one, we'll just seal it with some more washi tape. And it's going to be a little harder because I want to bulk up here. So let's use that. Look how long this took us to make, guys. It didn't even take us that long. And I have a cute little packaging that anybody can do because you don't need the fuse tool. Just cut them out. Oop, went a little too close there, but it's okay. Okay, get off my fingers. Okay, let's flip it over. And then I will seal it in. And look at how cute that is now. Would you like to get that? I know the glare. I'm going to try to get that glare off. It's like a cute little, it's in the package. It'll stay nice and clean until they can come pick them up. Okay. So now it should be hot enough. So let's take another one. And this one, let's see what I have to seal. Some of them, because if I use the end, I just got to get the top apart. And now let's see if this one needs a side. One side. The other side is good because that's where the seam was. Okay, so we're going to, all we're going to do is seal up this side then. Okay, so we're going to take our ruler again, and we're going to hold it right along the edge there. And now you don't have to go the same width as the tool either. But this is like, I'm pretty close to it, but you don't have to do the same width. Okay, are we ready? Can we see? Pretty good. And we're just going to run it. I'm going to see if it's hot enough. And I put some pressure to it, but you don't want to put too much pressure like I just did there. I put too much pressure, so I melted it. Put a little too much pressure there. I melted it, but it's still sealed. And because I want to match the other side, I am going to do this side. And I can see my wheel goes this way, so let's turn this way. Do not hold it. Like, you take some practice to use this fuse tool. I'm still not perfect with it. I've had this thing for many moons. But I still am a little heavy-handed at times. But that's the thing with page protectors. They're fairly cheap. You can get them, you can get a big pack of them for fairly cheap. And my daughter made the mistake once of buying some for herself when mommy already had some. So we have quite a bit of page protectors in our house. Now what I do is just kind of go in there and see if it did seal. And it's sealed. Oop, not there. Okay. Okay. And we're just going to go over it again. And I'm going to change out that blade now. And we're going to do this other one I'm going to show you. Let's see. We'll do one of these wavy ones, but I'm trying to see which one I want to do. Not that one. We'll do this one this time. Okay. Now, before we decorate this one, I want to wait and see which one I like better. Let's move this over to the side. Get another one here. Get this one prepared. You know, sometimes these are like, I can't get a hold of the little ends here. There we go. Okay, is this one sealed on that side yet? Yep, okay. So we'll push this one off to the side. Okay. Now, so the other thing I do, oh, let's just decorate this one. Well, I don't like it because it's melted there. I melted it. I didn't want to show you the next thing. Another thing I do is, but we can go ahead and do it while we're waiting for that to heat up. Okay, we'll come back to this one. Is I like to make little, I didn't glue this one together yet, but I like to make little embellishment, little bags too out of vellum. So this is just like to put a little, like maybe a couple charms in for like a Happy Mail or swap or something like that. And yeah, you can get all those little plastic bags and stuff, but I also have a ton of like vellum, you know, so I'll show you how, and you can make these any size you want. You know, you just see what size you need for and make them any old size. But let's go ahead, and while we're waiting, I got this one here, waiting for that to heat up. This little vellum with these little purple dot things on. And the first thing we need to do is cut a piece that's 5 by 4.5. So I'm going to go 4.5. By 5. And now we need to score. Like I said, these are really easy to make. You can make them any size. They don't really work really as good for the pens though, because vellum isn't as flexible. So they'll work, but they're just not. I don't know if I have one. I think I brought the other one upstairs that I had. They'll work, but they're not as nice. Okay, so on the 5-inch side, where's my little, like this 5 inches tall or 4 inches? Yeah, on the 5-inch side. And my tool, there it is, it's right in front of my face. Okay, so on the sides, on one side, I'm going to score 1.5 inch. And now vellum, you want to go a little firmer, but not too firm. Then I'm going to flip it to the other side. And on this one, I'm going to do 1.25. Okay. Now, flip it to the opposite sides where there's no score mark. Now, this is going to be my top, so I want a 3/4 inch fold over. 3/4 inch. And now flip it to my bottom. My bottom is fine with a 1/2 inch fold over. So we're just going to do a 1/2 inch. Okay, we can get rid of this. All right, so you can see all my score marks there. Okay, I'm going to give a little quick little fold. Just kind of make sure, even you know vellum likes to, you know, not fold is perfect, even with score lines. This is the outside. No, it doesn't matter. Wait. Yeah, this is the outside. So I got to fold it the opposite way. It's sometimes with the pattern on this vellum is really hard to see what side is the right side, but we want the darker side to the front. This is like making those little coin envelopes that I have made before. I've had videos. And then we're going to glue that. It's going to be our overhang there. Okay, but the first thing, this is our back. This is our front. We are going to get rid of this back portion here. We're going to get rid of this back portion here. And this section and this section. We do not need any of that. And we want to cut away the score line. So cut it away. We don't need the score line because that'll give us too much bulk when we're folding it over. see the right way, because, you know. So I'll sit and, like, you know, just sit to here and make a bunch. Like, I'm all out of pen. I have other, like I showed you guys a video on making a box for the pens. But when I do the rummage sale, when I do the craft show, I am not going to make a bunch of boxes for a craft show. That's not, money-wise, that's, you know, not worth it. I'm going to make little bags or buy little bags. Like, I will use these bags if I can. You know, I will use this type bag if I can that I bought. And if not, I'll make the bags that I need. I have those Mylar bags too. I found that I've gotten some. They're not big enough. Either way. Okay, now I just want to angle, or we'll take our punch instead. I'm going to use the middle size here. Now you can angle or fold that in. You can angle your corners or just go ahead and cut them. Get a little angle, cut there. Okay, so you get the little angle there, and now let's do the same for the top. Stick with like I said, you can take and just angle this, or like on this one, I just did an angle cut. I did that one, and this one we're rounding it. All right, so now let's fold this up. Down. Okay. And now we're just going to do our overlap. Okay, now we're going to run a little glue, a little scraper. And I don't go too close to the edge here because I don't want the glue to squish out too much. So I'm just going to kind of go right down the middle. And now working with vellum, you kind of want to push it out. So I just kind of flatten it. A little bit might come out. You want to flatten it so that your glue will dry and you won't be able to tell you have any glue there. Vellum could be tricky when you're gluing, but my art glitter glue seems to work pretty good. Now it's going to dry. It's not puckering. And that's what I like about it. All right, now I'm going to glue my bottom down. Go light-handed with your glue. You don't need to go too heavy. Hope I did. Now I like to put, I know some people are different. I like to put my flap to the back side so that I can have all this space to decorate, you know. So that's how I like to do mine. So there's a simple bag that you can put in. I don't have any embellishments in front of me, but you can put in some little embellishments, some little charms or anything like that. So there's a simple little bag, and you can do any size that you want. All right, grab this, and I wrinkled that one, but that's okay. We're going to cover most of that top up anyways. All right, back to this. So I showed you how to make little vellum bags for your projects, which I'm sure I'm going to have to probably make some, because I will be including, I think, my Post-it note little books and stuff at the craft sale. And I don't think I have any kind of bag for them yet. So I may make some vellum bags, or some wax paper works really well. I got decorative wax paper. That works really well for them. Wrapping paper works really well for making these little bags. So you can use wrapping paper. You can just use regular cardstock if you want. I like the vellum because it kind of shows through. My wax paper you can kind of see through my wax paper. So I like using decorative wax paper. Okay, this one I don't need to be that far out. Okay, all right, now let's see. You should be all good. And we're just going to run you, and that one just puts a little different seal there. Okay, and now let's go along here. So play with, first of all, if you have the fuse and never used it, get out a page protector and just play. Just take each one of these little tidbits. And like I said, if you don't have these, then use a pliers to pull that off. Which most of the time I do, but my pliers is not down here. So that's why I used, that was my wire cutter. But, you know, it works. Okay. Now we should be sealed. Okay, there's my top. Now let's go ahead for this one. I'm going to put like a bag topper thing on top. So let's take, and I got a scrap piece of paper that I was working with from that doodle bug pack. And I need a piece that's going to be 2 by 2.5 for that. 2 by 2.5. And what that is it'll go on over the top like this. Okay. So now we need to score it. You can score it or you can, you know, just hand fold it, but I like a little neater, you know, product, I guess. Here it is. I keep losing it. Okay, 1 inch. Now let's go. Also, we want to round our corners on this, make it look a little nicer. So let's do that. Corner rounder. I think we'll do the same size, the middle one. All right, and I want the yellow side to show because I'm going to put some stuff on it. And I'm going to pause you guys for a second. I forgot my stapler. Hold, please. Okay, if you know me, guys, you know I always forget something. So I need my little stapler. And I'm using colored staples. So I'm using the yellowish ones. Kind of match. Okay, next thing I need, I'm going to put a couple stickers on here. Let me see. Okay. Let's use, okay, I pulled this bird out earlier. I think we're going to set him right on. But it kind of is off just a little bit for a little dimension. He's hanging around there. Okay, and then what do we want to put? How about a bumblebee? No, the sun. Maybe we'll put the sun on this side. Since we have a bird, let's put the sun. These are the puffy stickers. So let's see. Go with the pink. No, that'll match the bird. We don't want to be too matchy-matchy. Do you want to be too matchy-matchy? Okay, let's put the little sun over there. All right, so now let's take this, take our other pen, drop it in. Uh-oh, Jean didn't seal that one good. Goodness sakes. And that'll happen, guys, because, you know, sometimes you're just afraid to push too hard. So let's do it again. Give it a little more pressure, Jean. Don't be afraid. More pressure. Hopefully we're sealed. Okay, now we're going to put you in there. Now, get the wrinkles out. I'm going to put this one on top. This one I'm not going to decorate because we have some decoration up here. I'm not going to decorate the bag at all. Now let's see. Hopefully I left enough room for my staples here. Yes, I did. And I'm going with just at the very bottom. Give it a good squeeze. And then what I always like to do is make sure that it's not stabby. You can see I'm running my fingers over pretty good. If it does, just, you know, pound it down a little bit, but these seem to work really good. And there we have another kind of little baggie. And this is probably how I will do it for the craft show is, and I may do some washi tape ones too, because I think the washi tapes are cute too. Trying to get the glare off, guys. But there is a way you can use your, I don't have a full page protector down here, but you can use your, and there's plenty of page protector here. You have to make other smaller embellishment bags, which I'll be doing too. So instead of making the vellum ones, I can just cut that. And because quite frankly, the page protectors are going to go a lot quicker than the vellum ones. So I can make like 3 more little bags out of here for something little, which I don't know what I have that I'm going to be making yet, but I'm not sure what I'm all making. But so this is another use for page protectors, and you can cut them yourself, or you can use your little fuse tool if you have one. All right, guys, I hope, and the little vellum bag. I hope you, I'm sorry about the glare. It's hard to work with some things with the glare. Tuck you under here. Maybe it'll bring it up just a little bit. Nope, not really. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on how to use some page protectors. And so get them out and start using them and see what you can do with them. All right, guys, I will see you later. Bye, everyone.